Hello Infiniteers and happy Friday! In today's episode of Toy Box Classics, we are going to build the Skee-Ball course that I showed you in the previous episode. This is a small toy box that is very easy to build, and so we're going to be able to build the complete course today. And then next time, I'll show you how to implement the logic for the game itself. We're starting in an empty toy box, and I'm going to use the default sky, because there's really no need to change it. But if you want to change it, you're welcome to do so. You can theme this however you like. I'm going to try to make this as close to the original as possible, although I am going to make a few differences. Alright, so we have this long, wide racetrack, and we're going to place that at the far end of the starting block here. And I'm going to take the starting pad and move this back to about the edge of the terrain. Okay. And then we're going to come over here to the end, and we're going to build the ramp that the player is going to use to launch the ball. So we're going to use this steep, wide track end ramp. And I'm going to place 3 of these down, followed by this wide piece, followed by the ramp start down at the bottom. Okay, so that's it for the racetrack. That's pretty straightforward. And now we'll scroll over to the right. And we're looking for... We're looking for the X Games stunt ramp. All right, we're going to place this right here along the end, like that. And we're going to run a row of these all the way down. Okay. Now, we'll come back down to the terrain category. And I want to pick up this small block right here. We're going to drop one down just like this. We're using this as a spacer to try to figure out where we have to place everything. Okay? And then we're going to go up to the basic blocks, and I'm going to grab this block and drop it right here. And this will be the start of the ramp going up into the bins. And we're going to theme this using the carbon fiber theme. I'll set that to be my theme. All of the basic blocks that we put down are going to use that theme. Alright, so we can take that out. I'm going to pick this up and put it back without moving it. And then we're going to run a row of these all the way down. Okay. And then we'll come pick up the long wedge block. We're going to put 3 of these here. 2 rows of them. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. And this is framing in the first bin that stretches along the bottom of our table. Okay? So there we have that. And then we'll go back up to the racetrack pieces. And we're going to use this piece right in here and drop that in just like that. Okay? So make sure it's set at the same height as the flat block in front of it. And at the height you see there. We'll bring this over. And then we'll run a row of these along the front. So there is our first bin to collect the ball. All right. So that's pretty straightforward. And then we'll come back over here to the ramp pieces. And we're going to run a row of these all the way across. Okay, so there we go. Now we're going to repeat what we just did, except we're going to make this 6 blocks wide here, and again 2 rows of these, because the next bin up should be a little bit smaller or narrower than that first bin down at the bottom. So 6 blocks, 6 ramp blocks, and like that. And then once again, back up to the racetrack pieces. Oops. Drop that right in place like that. You can see we have a little bit narrower bin for the ball higher up, which you would expect if you want to score big. The more rewarding bins are going to be the more narrow bins. And then once again, pick this up, put it back, come back up here and run a row of these all the way down. Like so. Okay, and then once again another row, but this time we're going to do 9. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2 rows. So 9 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2 rows. And our third bin is going to be pretty narrow. So that's going to sit in here like that. And actually, that needs to move forward. Sorry about that. Same with the previous bin. That's got to come forward. Because in order to drop into the bin, it's got to be up next to that ramp. Okay, so there we go. That one was already correct. All right. All right, and then we'll pick this piece up once again, put it back, go up to the next row, and this time we're going to put 2 rows of these all the way across. So how you guys doing today? You building things in your toy boxes? Are you playing Disney Infinity at all? What play sets? What have you been up to? Leave a comment and let me know. Alright, so now we're going to pick up the long block, and now we're going to plug the gaps. Because we don't want all that blue sky showing through. This one we're going to run all the way down. This run will run all the way down. That creates a little ledge there right in front of the bin. This one we run all the way down. That one we run all the way down. For myself, I've been actually going through the inside-out playset. Believe it or not, I had never played that before. So it's only recently that I've been unlocking a lot of the pieces and things in that. Alright, so there is our table. So we have the starting area, our ramp going down to launch from, and the table with the bins. And now let's put in some barriers around this table so we keep the balls confined to the table. And what I want to do here, we'll come over to this terrain block. And I want to drop this down right like that. Okay, now for the theme on this, the original toy box used the ESPN theme, which gave it a brown edge to the table, and that's fine. I personally didn't really like that. I thought it was kind of bland, so I chose to use Nicelander's Home instead, and I'm going to set that to be my theme. I like the brick. I like the color. It just, to me, it makes me happy. But you feel free to use whatever you like. Doesn't really matter. Oops. Meant to flick it to go that way. Okay. And we've got to go up one more. So like that. And then I want to mirror that on the other side. Okay. And this just encloses the table to keep the ball, the wrecking balls in play, which I think is important. And I don't think we really need to go down that far. Don't think I did over there. Okay. And then we need two up top over here. So we'll pick that up, put it back, come back up and go like that. And just to avoid any terrain seams along the back, we're going to put this down. That way we have a nice solid back, and I like that. Okay, for the basketball hoop, which is the final bin, the hardest one to get into, we'll come back to the blocks drawer. And I want to center the block kind of on this bin. We're going to come all the way back. And I'm going to put two of these stacked on top of each other. All right? And then we'll come up to the sports toys, go over to the basketball hoop, and we're going to set this right on top, right up against the wall, like that. Okay? And that's where that gets placed. And then we can take out those two little blocks for helpers. So that's where that goes. Okay, now for the super cannons. And you find those under the gameplay toys. Whoops, went the wrong way. No, platforming toys, sorry. And for this, let me make sure I get my screen grab here and we put these in the right place. The first one we're going to center on the course here. So I want to put it right center lined up with the basketball hoop up there. And we're going to put the back bounding box edge up against the ramp like that. Okay? And we place the first one there. And the next one, if you notice, there's a little seam right here on the ramp, and another one there, and another one there. this is what we're going to line these up with. So we're going to put down 4 more down here. Like that. Okay. So there we go. Okay. And the next one, if we come back to the middle, we're going to come up, and I want to put this at the same level as that bin. I can't go too low, but that's too low. That's the right height. It's not quite on top of that bin, but it's close. And this one is going to be lined up. Let's see. I think the easiest way to do this, because I need to use these little red targets to line up with. So before we can do that, we need to rotate all of these. So you're going to come into the properties for each and every one and change the tilt position to 45 degrees. And I won't do all of these on the video, just the ones I need in order to be able to set the next row of things. All right, you want to make that same change with those super cannons and those super cannons, okay? And now once you do, you'll notice the little red stars, the targets for the super cannon, are up there. That tells you where whatever's launched through the super cannon, that tells you where it's going to go, okay? And so what we want to do now is, once again, I want to line this up, and I'm going to kind of put this over on the edge, about like that, okay? And drop this down so that it's about like that. So the bottom edge, you'll notice, is lined up with that third bin there on the left. The upper right corner is lined up with the targets from the previous row of super cannons, like you see. And you can see from that one target, from the middle super cannon below, how that target's lined up with this one. So we're going to place that there like that. And then we'll place the next one over here like this. And like that. And actually we need to move this one over just a tad. There we go. And then once again, you're going to come into the properties for each of these and set the tilt position on those to 45 degrees. Didn't mean to pick that up. And then under the properties for this one, again, 45 degrees, set the other two that way as well. But that lifts the target for those two super cannons up here. And that tells us now where we can place the last one, which is going to be, let's see, we want to center this on the basketball hoop, so like that. And I want to set this, let's see, I'm trying to see the stars. I think it's right where my spark is, but we want to move that to the back like that. Not quite that far back. Let's just drop that and see where that is. All right, so those are the sparks, and that's where they line up with the super cannon. And once again, we're going to set this to 45 degrees. Okay, so there we are. I think the original toy box had these two placed a little bit higher, or these two a little bit lower. Actually, I think these two were a little bit lower. But, I don't know. I just kind of like them better that way. Because I think that if they're all at the same height, that gives you, no matter which one of those you hit, the same opportunity to possibly hit this one. And I think that's important. All right, and then the last thing I want to do is put down the party cannons. So we'll come to the gameplay toys, go to the right to the party cannon. And these are going to sit right down here like this. And you can use this nice flat space as a place to put the party cannons. And then we're going to put another row of them right above the basketball hoop up here on the wall. Like that. Okay. So there's our course. It's shaping up. A few decorations out here just to kind of make this starting area look interesting. And I also want to use them to guide the player down the center of the ramp, like the original toy box had. So we're going to come down to the plants drawer. We're going to come over to the right. And let me make sure I got this correct. All right, we're going to use this piece here in the corner. Followed by that piece. We got plenty of memory, so we can use whatever just decorations we want to use here. We can make this as fancy as we want, or whatever. Put those down like that. We'll come over here. And put one of those down like so. This one we'll put down I don't know. However you want, I guess. And put that little red flower there. Little red flower over there. All right, so we've kind of created some decorations there. And I'm going to theme all of these because I'm using the Wreck-It Ralph theme. We'll theme all and set it to the nice land. And let's go ahead and change the theme on our starting block here too. All right, so now that we have these positioned, now we can create our little runway down the middle. And to do that, to guide the player down through there, go back up to the racetrack pieces, go left. To the wide barrier. We're going to put 3 of those down on either side, like that. And when the game starts, we'll start the player right about here in the middle, which puts them between those walls and lets them know we want them to come down this way. And to reinforce that, we'll put the wrecking balls down along the bottom here towards the middle. So that is my recreation of the Skee-Ball course. As you can see, it is an easy build. There isn't much to it. The logic's pretty easy too, but we'll get to that next time. Thank you for watching. Before you go, leave a comment and let me know if you're following along and building this toy box on your own system. I'd love to hear from you. And as always, please like and subscribe if you're enjoying these videos and this series. Your feedback lets me know whether or not I should continue making more of these classic toy boxes, or if I should move on to something else. So I appreciate your feedback. That's all for me today. Have a great weekend.